Okay, so now we're going to take a look at player movement. This is something that confuses a lot of people. People usually go and add a cube to the scene and they just walk with the character and it passes through and everybody gets super confused about it, even when the cube has a box collider. So what is actually happening there? So the player uses the navigation mesh for movement, and this is something that has changed in the new versions of Unity. So there are two ways of doing that. Traditionally, and this is the way that is done in the template because it uses an earlier version, you can go to Window AI, Navigation Obsolete, and this is the way that Unity had to bake the navigation mesh per level. It doesn't even show the nav mesh now, even when it has been generated. So this is not the way that you should do it if you're using the latest version of Unity. Instead, you can go and create a NavMeshSurface and add NavMeshSurface component. And this is gonna do a similar thing, really. So you can press bake, and now we can see the areas that the player is gonna be able to walk on. As we can see, it still doesn't work, and this is probably due to the obsolete navigation mesh being baked. So we can clear that. It's a bit confusing because it's not something that you can see, and it should now work. Okay, so there are other many things that you can do with the AI navigation system. This is not the purpose of this tutorial. It's a Unity thing, but obviously there are many other components that you can use to configure the walkable areas of your level. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the character movement type. If we search for our character, all the movement parameters are on the player movement component, and you can trick things like the movement speed, the run speed, the backwards, movement backwards speed, and also you can decide which movement type is going to use. By default is tank movement, but you can change that to be alternate, and the player will move in a direction that is relative to the camera. Even when you change the camera perspective, it's going to retain that direction that you had until a substantial change happens in the player input.